Good morning and welcome to New Hanover County Schools The Morning Show. I'm Sierra Darmuth.
And I'm Dylan Grace. This is the week of May 4th through May 10th.
This week, the running topic of our show is money.
That's right. We have a special feature, the invisible money, also known as credit, as well as currency trivia and a game of penny tic-tac-toe to close the show.
Today's show also features the Zoo Files. In this episode, we meet two of the newest members of our zoo family.
And in the list, our host takes a look at the top 10 U.S. sculptors. There are some neat and not well-known ones, along with a couple of famous classics.
We also have this month's What's Up in Science. Host Dylan Grace will be bringing us the latest news from the world of science.
Speaking of news, it's time for our first look at this morning's news headlines. Let's send it over to our news anchor, Victoria Chang. Good morning, Victoria.
Good morning, Sierra and Dylan, and welcome everyone to your school news here on The Morning Show. Topping the headlines this week, Board of Education holds a special meeting on school budget. Snipes Academy learns about steel drums from Wildcat Band, and Ogden Elementary holds a historical wax museum. I will have all those stories and more coming up later in the show.
Thanks, Victoria. We get things going today with a staple here on The Morning Show with a segment we call This Week in History. Our Grand Masters of Historical Knowledge has all the headlines from past times in This Week in History, brought to you by Kidsville News.
Welcome to This Week in History. I'm your historical host, Samantha Klein, covering all the colorful and amazing events that have left their mark on history's timeline. This is the week of May 4th through May 10th. May 4th, 1970. In Kent, Ohio, 28 National Guardsmen fired their weapons at a group of anti-war demonstrators on the Kent State University campus, killing 4 students, wounding 8, and permanently paralyzing another. May 5th, 2002. Directed by Sam Raimi and starring Tobey Maguire in the title role, the eagerly awaited comic book adaptation Spider-Man was released. It quickly became the fastest movie ever to earn more than $100 million at the box office, raking in a staggering $114.8 million by Sunday, May 6, 2004. At 9:00 p.m. Eastern and Pacific times on this day in 2004, that familiar theme song, I'll Be There For You by the Rembrandts, announces the beginning of the end, as an estimated 51.1 million people tune in for the final original episode of NBC's long-running comedy series Friends. May 7, 1995. Indiana Pacers guard Reggie Miller scores 8 points in 11 seconds to lead his team over the New York Knicks 107-105. Miller was famous throughout his career for what became known as Miller Time Clutch performances to finish games. This 1995 Eastern Conference semifinal playoff was Miller's greatest late-game display and one of the most shocking ends to a game in NBA history. May 8, 1988. Stella Nichol is convicted on 2 counts of murder by a Seattle, Washington jury. She was the first person to be found guilty of violating the Federal Anti-Tampering Act after putting cyanide in Excedrin capsules in an effort to kill her husband. Finally, your weekend history tidbits. May 9th, 2001. During a soccer game at Accra Stadium in Ghana, an encounter between police and rowdy fans results in a stampede that kills 126 people. This tragedy was the worst ever sports-related disaster in Africa's history to that time. May 10th, 1869. The presidents of the Union Pacific and Central Pacific Railroads meet in Promontory, Utah, and drive a ceremonial last spike into a rail line that connects their railroads. This made transcontinental railroad possible for the first time in U.S. history. No longer would western-bound travelers need to take the long and dangerous journey by wagon train, and the West would surely lose some of its wild charm with the new connection to the civilized East. That's This Week in History, your ultimate source for those key moments in time. I'm Samantha Klein. Thanks for stopping by.
This Week in History is brought to you by Kidsville News, a fun and effective learning resource for children, teachers, and parents. It features school news, information, and local community events while promoting literacy and the development of good reading habits, character traits, and study skills in young children. And Kidsville News is always free. Copies are delivered every month to every elementary school in the New Hanover County school system.
And join us again next time for another journey through time as we explore the fun, fascinating, entertaining, and educational facts that make up This Week in History.
Now don't go away. We'll be right back.
What state am I?
Most of my industry is located on or near the Ohio River. My nickname is the Mountain State. My state flower is the rhododendron. Do you know who I am? If you guessed West Virginia, you're right. I received statehood in 1863.
This United States factoid has been brought to you by New Hanover County Schools on the Learning Network of the Cape Fear.
Yes, ready, ready. Go get it.
Oh, come on, Randy. Animal shelter, here I come. And no, I'm not crazy or emotionally damaged. That's a stereotype. I just belong to a total loser. I'm a good dog. So if you want a pet, adopt. And if you see Randy, tell him he dropped his wallet.
Kids will spend 15 minutes watching online videos like this one.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time.
How you doing? My name's Steve. My family's lived in this neighborhood for years. Recently, things got so tight, we had to go to our local food bank for help. I lost a lot of sleep worrying about what the neighbors might think. That is until I saw them there, too. How'd I do, Steve?
A little stiff. If you could have done a little better.
What? Come on. You know, I have an Academy Award.
Yeah, but not for playing me.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
Welcome back to the morning show. I'm Sierra Darmuth.
And I'm Dylan Grace.
Today our show has lots of fun things focused on the topic of money.
In this day and age, money isn't just what you have in hand or in the bank.
Credit is an important, invisible yet important form of currency which can play a huge factor in someone's life.
Today we have a special edition of Money Smarts. In this segment, teachers from New Hanover County Schools Career Technical Education Program share sound financial tips to help all of us be a little bit smarter with our money.
Here's our special edition with Ashley High School Business Education teacher Kim Robinson. She will tell us all about credit.
Hello, I'm Kimberly Robinson from Ashley High School. Today, I'm going to talk to you about credit, mainly emphasizing upon credit reports and credit scores. First of all, we're going to define credit. Credit is defined as the ability to obtain goods or services before payment, based on the trust that payment will be made in the future. In other words, you can buy now and pay later. The purpose of credit is to allow you to make purchases, large purchases. Credit is not designed for you to make a short-term purchase like to purchase a meal. You will purchase a home or you can purchase a car with the use of good credit. It is important to have good credit. There are two lines of credit. One credit is good credit and one is called poor credit or bad credit. When you have good credit, you are having low interest rates, you are able to demonstrate good character, you can make major purchases with no problem, and it also enhances your quality of life. On the other hand, if you have bad credit or poor credit, you will be awarded with having high interest rates. It will demonstrate poor character, and you may not be able to make a major purchase when you're prepared or when you want to buy a home, car, boat, or any other type of major purchase. And it also affects your quality of life. We have three main branches of credit bureaus. Credit bureaus keep a record of your good and your bad credit. These credit bureaus are Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. Your credit is rated on a scale from 300 to 850. 850 ranking the highest and 300 indicating that you have poor credit. The median credit for today is about 700. Some credit card tips. As you approach being a senior, or if you are already 18, you may have already been targeted for credit cards. If you've been targeted for credit cards, just keep in mind that you only want one credit card for major purchase. Do not overuse a credit card if you're not able to pay back the balance in a timely manner. Do not use credit cards unnecessarily, meaning going out to the movies or buying food or clothing unnecessarily. Do not overuse or max out your credit cards. Do not apply for several credit cards, and always keep a low credit card balance. This is Kimberly Robinson from Ashley High School, and I hope that you've learned something about credit and credit reports.
Thank you, Ms. Robinson. We hope that this helps everyone understand a little more about credit and the benefits of maintaining good credit.
It's time now to head over to our news anchor, Victoria Chang, who is sitting by with our first block of your school news stories. Good morning, Victoria.
Good morning, and welcome to Your School News on the Morning Show. I'm Victoria Chang. Topping our newscast this week, for almost 3 hours last Tuesday night, the new Hanover County Board of Education comprehensively reviewed and discussed the approval of the 2015 to 2016 proposed county budget request. We get this report from Dylan Grace.
It was one of the longest meetings held by the New Hanover County Board of Education in quite some time. The meeting was centered around the approval of the 2015-2016 proposed county budget request. Going in, the primary goal of the meeting was to open the floor to the public to share their thoughts on budget requests. However, only 2 individuals showed up to share their concerns and suggestions regarding the budget. It was then newly elected board member Bruce Schell who asked if the board could take some time for the Bond Policy Committee members to share their opinions of the budget. Board members Edward Higgins, Tammy Koval, and Lisa Estep served on the Budget Committee along with Senior Staff Superintendent Dr. Tim Markley and 3 principals, 1 from an elementary school, 1 from a middle school, and 1 from a high school. The meeting then proceeded into discussions and breakdowns of individual line items and questions regarding need. Following the overview, 3 board members, Hayes, Higgins, and Nichols, said staff and the committee had already spent from 12 to 15 hours discussing the budget proposal and felt ready to vote. However, the 3 other members present still had concerns. To break some of the tension, a short break was taken from talk of the budget to allow the board to hear 2 reports. One from the New Hanover County Health Department on a kindergarten health assessment review, recent BMI data, and a request to expand data collection. They heard a delightful report from Pine Valley Elementary's principal, teachers, students, and parents about the school's recent 24-hour Skype-a-thon around the world. It was a presentation that put a smile on the faces of the board members and was a high point of the meeting. Following the 2 reports, the board returned to discussing the budget. Superintendent Markley and Chief Financial Officer Mary Hazel Small took the board through every single item in the proposed budget line by line, reviewing the needs and reasons for the requests. Opening the floor numerous times, we will allow for questions and discussions of items in the budget. After a few minor changes, one being a change in clerical testing support positions for high schools, the board approved the proposal 5-1. Ms. Koval was the one dissenting vote. Board member Janice Kavanaugh was not present at the meeting. The request will be presented as part of the county's budget proposal to the county commissioners at their May 4th meeting. The next regular Board of Education meeting will be Tuesday, May 5th, 2015 at 5:30 p.m. at the Board of Education Center, 1805 South 13th Street. As always, if you cannot attend the meeting in person, you can watch the rebroadcast Tuesday nights at 6 p.m., Wednesday nights at 8 p.m., Friday morning at 8 a.m., and Sundays at 1 p.m. Board meetings can also be watched online at www.nhcs.net. Reporting for Your School News, this is Dylan Grace.
Music is a big part of some students' lives. So when the NHCS Steel Cats, a steel drumming team from New Hanover, performed at the Snipes Academy of Arts and Design Star Night, it is understandable the elementary children's hearts were pounding. As the night began, the Steel Cats played some signature songs of theirs, as well as lesser-known songs composed specifically for the steel drums. As the night beat on and the Wildcats finished up, the prepared song they started to allow the Snipes students to play the drums. Although they weren't exactly making music, the elementary students had a great time figuring out the new instruments, and the high schools also had a good time sharing their craft. At the end of the memorable night, all were happy with the outcome. New Hanover County Schools is proud to announce that Ryan J. Spurney of Hoggard High School and a member of Your School News team is a part of the first group of winners in the 60th Annual National Merit Scholarship Program, announced by the National Merit Scholarship Corporation. Ryan won the National Merit Corning Incorporated Scholarship, which recognizes academic excellence in the pursuit of higher education. He plans to study biomedical engineering at college. More than 1,000 distinguished high school seniors have won corporate-sponsored National Merit Scholarship Awards, financed by about 200 corporations, company foundations, and other business organizations. Scholars were selected from students who advanced to the finalist level in the National Merit Scholarship Competition and met criteria of their scholarship sponsors. Corporate sponsors provide National Merit Scholarships for finalists who are children of their employees, who are residents of communities the company serves, or who plan to pursue college majors or careers the sponsor wishes to encourage. For all of the latest on New Hanover County Schools, join us weekdays at 5:30 p.m. here on Time Warner Cable Channel 5 and Charter Cable Channel 191 for Your School News, a complete half hour of all the latest news and information from New Hanover County Schools. Now back to our hosts.
Thanks, Victoria. It's now time for our tasty segment, Food Facts. In this feature, specialists from the New Hanover County Child Nutrition Office join us with important information for living healthy and happy lives. This week, Sydney Filippo gives us all the details on protein.
We all know that protein is an essential part of our diet, but it can be hard to think of ways to add variety. It's recommended that most people should get 5 to 7 ounces of protein a day. For younger children, 3 to 5 ounces is acceptable. A normal serving of protein is about 3 ounces. This would be about the size of a deck of cards for most meats. Protein is a large food group and includes both animal products, such as meat, poultry, seafood, and eggs. It also includes plant products, such as beans, peas, soy products, nuts, and seeds. Today I'm going to give you some easy tips to help you include protein in your diet. Tip 1, vary your protein choices. Have the same protein foods each week can get boring for your taste buds. Try to add main dishes that have beans, nuts, or seafood. Tip number 2, choose seafoods twice a week. Try to select a variety. Look for seafood that is higher in healthy oils and low in mercury content. These are things like salmon, trout, or herring. Tip number 3, make meat and poultry lean or low fat. Look for ground beef that is at least 90% lean. If you buy something less lean, make sure to drain the fat from the meat and remove poultry skin. Tip 4, add eggs. 1 egg a day will not increase your risk for heart disease, so it's okay to make eggs a part of your weekly protein choice. Tip 5, eat plant protein more often. These are foods such as beans, peas, soy products, nuts, and seeds. They are naturally high in fiber and will help keep you full. Tip 6, choose nuts and seeds as a snack. You can also use them on salads or replace meat in a main dish. But beware, nuts and seeds are a concentrated source of calories, so make sure to eat a small portion. Tip 7, vary your methods of cooking. Try grilling, broiling, roasting, or baking. These methods won't add extra fat to your meals. You could also try slow cooking meat. Crock-pot meals are a great idea for fall and winter. Tip number 8, when making a sandwich, make it healthy. Sandwiches are a great way to incorporate protein into your meals. Choose meats like turkey, roast beef, canned tuna or salmon, or peanut butter for sandwiches. Tip number 9, think small. When it comes to meat, get the flavor you want in a smaller portion. When out, consider ordering a small burger, such as a single patty or a petite-sized steak. Tip number 10, check the sodium. Look at the label and the nutrition facts on prepared meats. Many canned beans and meats have added sodium. Processed meats like ham, sausage, and hot dogs are also high in sodium. Be careful of some chicken, turkey, and pork because it can be brined in a salt solution to add flavor and tenderness. I'm Sydney Flippo with the New Hanover County Schools Child Nutrition Department. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you, Sydney. That was a lot of great information I did not know about protein.
Now don't go away. This rip-roaring edition of the morning show will continue right after this break. But before we go, we have our trivia question of the day.
Today's trivia question centers around money, U.S. currency to be exact. All U.S. currencies is printed by the Bureau of Engraving and Printing. Along with printing money, the Bureau also removes old and worn currency.
U.S. paper currency takes a lot to wear out. It is actually composed not of paper, but 75% cotton and 25% linen. It would take 4,000 double folds before a note would tear.
Which brings us to our trivia question. Today our trivia question asks, what is the typical lifespan of a $1 bill? A, 16 months, B, 22 months, C, 55 months, or D, 89 months?
We'll have the correct answer when we return.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
Welcome. I understand you need a little help with your mortgage. Want to avoid foreclosure. Smart move. Candy? Well, you know, you're in luck. We're experts in this sort of thing. Mortgage, rigmarole, whatnot.
Really?
Absolutely. And we guarantee results, you know, for a small fee, of course. Such are the benefits of having a professional on your side. Why don't we get a contract? Who wants a contract?
Here you go, Pete.
Thanks, Betty.
Write a toner.
Sign it. Come on, sign it. Families around the country every single day, saving homes.
We will talk it over with.
If you're facing foreclosure, make sure you're talking to the right people. Speak with HUD-approved housing counselors free of charge at 888-995-HOPE.
It begins innocently enough. You don't return a phone call. You break a date at the last minute. But in fact, it's the beginning of a pattern. And soon, your friend with mental illness realizes you're avoiding them. But what if you knew that your friendship was the key to their recovery? Would you still lock them out of your life?
Welcome back to the morning show. I'm Sierra Dartmouth.
And I'm Dylan Grace. Today's trivia question focused on U.S. currency.
Our question asks, what is the typical lifespan of $1 bill? A, 16 months, B, 22 months, C, 55 months, or D, 89 months? And the correct answer is B, 22 months. Once again, that is for a $1 bill. The average lifespan changed from each denomination of currency.
$5 bills have the shortest span, lasting only 16 months, while $100 bills last the longest at 89 months.
The lifespan for the other bills are 18 months for a $10 bill, 24 months for a $20 bill, and 55 months for a $50 bill.
One last fact, the largest bill ever printed was the $100,000 bill. It was actually a gold certificate issued in 1934.
Those notes were used for transactions between Federal Reserve banks and were not circulated among the general public.
Shifting gears now, we have everyone's favorite segment from the North Carolina Zoo at Asheboro. The Zoo Files tells us about the different animals, exhibits, and happenings at the zoo. Baby animals are always a hit with visitors at the North Carolina Zoo. In today's Zoo Files, reporter Rod Hackney introduces us to not one, but two baby baboons.
Primates always rank very high on the list of favored animals with visitors here at the North Carolina Zoo. But that's especially true when the primate troop includes babies. Recently, the zoo's Hamadryas baboon exhibit has seen the birth of two youngsters. Zookeeper Jody Wiley tells us more about baboons and the troop's latest additions.
We just welcomed two new babies to the Hamadryas baboon troop. The first baby was born on April 10th, and it's a little girl, and our second edition was born on Mother's Day, actually. And we do have one more pregnant female that is due any day now. Right now at the North Carolina Zoo, our troop size is 21, soon to be 22, and we actually have the largest troop in the United States. In the United States, the population of Hamadryas is currently at 83, and a quarter of that population resides here at the North Carolina Zoo. The North Carolina Zoo has a very strong operant conditioning training program for the baboons. Operant condition is a way we shape a behavior, and whenever they do the right behavior, we reward it with something. So for baboons, we use a favored food item like bananas or apples. We work very closely with the veterinary staff, and we have the females trained where they'll present their abdomen for ultrasound. We can check their blood glucose levels and blood pressure, just like they do with humans, except we do this through training. The parents of the newborn kids, the one female, Tankara, was born here, and same with the sire to that baby, Tuku. He was born here as well. Now the other female, Candy, she was brought in from a different facility about 5 years ago, and she was actually bred with one of the males that was brought in about 10 years ago.
The birth of these two baby baboons has not only made their exhibit more interesting for visitors, but also added to the captive population of this threatened species. If you'd like to learn more, check out our website at nczoo.org. I'm Rod Hackney reporting for the Zoo Files, connecting your life to wildlife.
The North Carolina Zoo near Asheboro is open year-round. For more information, call 1-800-488-0444 or visit the zoo website at www.nczoo.org.
That was another excellent edition of the Zoo Files. Thank you, Rod Hackney.
All right, it's time now for this week's lunch menu. This is the menu for Monday, March 2nd through Monday, March 9th.
On Monday, May 4th, awaken your taste buds with flavor-packed beefaroni with a breadstick, corn puppies, or a chicken fillet sandwich. Continue your explosion of flavor with side items of sweet potato, waffle fries, a garden salad, and spiced apples.
Then on Tuesday, May 5th, choose between mouth-watering chicken and waffles, a Salisbury steak with a biscuit, or a slice of pizza. Complete your splendiferous meal with redskin mashed potatoes with gravy, a garden salad, and fresh fruit.
On Wednesday, May 6th, chow down on a delicious chicken nuggets with a roll, a tuna sandwich, or a yummy bacon cheeseburger. On the side are pasta salad, glazed carrots, a garden salad, and diced pears to help brighten your day.
On Thursday, May 7th, you have the choice of 3 excellent entrees for lunch: cheesy breadstick bites, a chicken fajita with Spanish rice, or a hot dog with chili. Keep the meal going with joy by adding on macaroni salad, great northern beans, a garden salad, and fresh fruit.
Then on Friday, May 8th, end your week on a high note with a wonderful meal of either popcorn chicken, a pepperoni pizza hoagie, or a pork barbecue rib sandwich. Also, chat down on sides of macaroni and cheese, carrot sticks, a local romaine salad, and incredible flavored diced peas.
Finally, on Monday, May 11th, race to the lunch line for a chicken parmesan sandwich, a beef taco with Spanish rice, or French bread pizza. These tasty sides will have you licking your lips. Barbecue pinto beans, a garden salad, and a frozen fruit cup.
And there you have the lunch menu for the week.
Don't forget, you can also start your day off with a healthy and hearty breakfast at school.
In our next segment, host Jamie Stoutfort takes a look at a unique top 10 list that is informative and entertaining. From animals to food to entertainment and education, each episode will count down 10 items that are tops in their category.
This week we have the top 10 U.S. sculptures. Follow along and see if you agree or disagree with the list.
Welcome to this week's edition of The List. I'm Jamie Stoutfort. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and art is no exception. We all have our own opinions about art, and sculpture is a media that has been debated between art fanatics for years. Is it art, or is it just cement? However, many can agree that these sculptures are the best that America has to offer, known for their astounding sizes, shapes, and details. I present to you the top 10 American sculptures. Topping off the list at number 10 is Her Secret is Patience by Janet Ickelman. Located at Arizona State University, this sculpture simulates a cumulus cloud and lights up the night sky, much like the aurora borealis. Its galvanized steel base and polyester twine netting allow the sculpture to appear suspended in the air. Kinda looks like cotton candy, doesn't it? Coming in at number 9 is Metamorphosis by David Cerny. Located in Charlotte, this fountain, made entirely of stainless steel plates that rotate independently, stands at a whopping 30 feet tall when all the plates are correctly aligned. When the layers move, they form recognizable patterns and sometimes even a recognizable face. This sculpture gives a whole new meaning to the term fountainhead. Taking the number 8 spot is Watts Towers, or Nuestro Pueblo by Simon Rodia. This sculpture consists of 17 independent structures, some measuring up to 99 feet tall. What makes this work of art special is that it is made entirely of found objects, bed frames, bottles, steel pipes, etc. Located in Los Angeles, these towers are futuristic and medieval at the same time, and many have said that they resemble Christmas trees. The number 7 spot goes to Cloud Gate by Anish Kapoor. This famous Chicago sculpture rings a bell. This giant metal beam-shaped structure in the heart of Chicago is best known for its reflective surface, which displays the city of Chicago as a 3D painting, if you will. This sculpture is special because it has an obvious message, that the city of Chicago is a work of art. Coming in at number 6 is Spoon Bridge and Cherry by artists Klaus Eldenberg and Koos van Bruggen. Located in Minneapolis, this sculpture consists of a giant white spoon with a perfect little cherry sitting on the very tip of the spoon. This artistic couple wanted to achieve a kitschy vibe, and the sculpture definitely serves their point. The sculpture is also a fountain. It's just the cherry on top. At number 5 is the Crazy Horse Memorial by Korzak Ziolski. Located in South Dakota's Black Hills, it is the next-door neighbor to Mount Rushmore, but it is, and will be, more impressive. The Rushmore heads are each 60 feet tall, and the Lakota Warrior stands at 87. And that's not all. The sculpture was started in 1948 and has yet to reach completion. When finished, the sculpture will be a whopping 563 feet tall. I'm only 5 foot. Looks like I've got some growing to do. In the 4th spot is Spiral Jetty by Robert Smithson. This natural piece of artwork is situated on the shores of the Great Salt Lake and is only visible by air. This 1,500-foot-long spiral was constructed in only 6 days and consists only of mud, rock, and grasses. Its future and visibility are all up to Mother Nature, but nearby oil drilling may have a much quicker effect on the artwork. Coming in at number 3 is the Gateway Arch by Eero Saarinen. Built in 1968, this giant arch calls St. Louis, Missouri home. The Gateway Arch commemorates the Louisiana Purchase and the westward expansion of America. The arch is not only the tallest stainless steel monument in the world, but it is the tallest United States monument, standing at 630 feet. We're almost there. Coming in at number 2 is the Vietnam Veterans Memorial by Maya Lin. Easily the most powerful war memorial, the Vietnam Veteran Memorial's minimalist design and overwhelming list of names serves to recognize the brave Americans who lost their lives in the Vietnam War. This monument consists of 2 walls, each 246 feet in length that intersect into a corner. The wall consists of 58,286 names of soldiers who died or were unaccounted for, and is a truly honorary monument. And at the very top of our list is, of course, Liberty Enlightening the World by Frederick Auguste Bartholdi. The stunning beauty of Lady Liberty is remarkable, which is why she sits on her own island in the middle of Manhattan. Given to us by the French in 1886, the statue commends our push for independence and how we became the catalyst for liberty in other countries like France. Standing at 151 feet, Liberty is a symbol of freedom that has welcomed those from abroad for centuries. It has been said that to enjoy art is to enjoy a serene mind. I'm not sure what metal Christmas trees or cherries on spoons has to do with that, but they are pretty fun to look at. That's it for this week's Top 10. Join us again next time for another exciting edition of The List.
That was a great list. There were a lot of neat sculptures I haven't seen. Did you have a favorite?
I really thought number 10 was neat. And of course, there's a Statue of Liberty. Everyone loves that one.
It's a national symbol.
Now coming up, we have What's Up in Science with our host Dylan Grace and more Your School News here on The Morning Show. But first, we have a little music for your morning.
Dance of the Hours is a short ballet and is the finale of the opera La Gioconda, composed by Amilcare Ponchielli. It depicts the hours of the day through solo and ensemble dances. The opera was first performed in 1876.
Later performed on its own, the Dance of the Hours was at one time one of the best known and most frequently performed ballets. It became even more widely known after it was featured in the 1940 Disney animated film Fantasia.
Ponchielli was a master of many types of composition, from operas to band music to solo piano pieces. He was a teacher of composition at the Milan Conservatory and was one of the most admired Italian opera composers of his generation.
Here is this morning's great moment in music.
History's Timeline, a world of history in 60 seconds, brought to you by New Hanover County Schools. January 16th, 1920, Prohibition comes into force in the United States. November 14th, 1922, the tomb of Tutankhamun is discovered by Howard Carter in Luxor, Egypt. May 20th and 21st, 1927, Charles Lindbergh flies from New York to Paris in 37 hours. February 14th, 1929, the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. 6 Chicago gangsters are machine-gunned to death by a rival gang. This has been History's Timeline, an educational snapshot of the fascinating people, places, and events that have shaped our past.
Plant a tree for your because you have the power to change our world. You can improve the environment, help your community, and build a better tomorrow. You can plant a tree.
I can make a difference.
The Arbor Day Foundation can show you how to make a difference too.
Taste the breezes, life inside you. Make a promise to the earth.
You can plant and care for trees, help your community forestry program, and support Tree City USA, where you live.
And meet some great people, too. We did this together.
Be a force for change. Get involved. Plant trees.
This is something positive I can do.
For more information, write the National Arbor Day Foundation.
Plant a tree, trees for America. Plant a tree today for all the world to share.
I got no pulse, we're losing him.
Charging. He's in V-Fit.
Shock him.
Drives it around all the time. Just had a few drinks. Just can't be happening.
Are we clear?
Clear.
You just buzzed.
Just buzzed. You didn't tell us that, sir. You're right, this isn't happening. He'll be fine.
I feel good. Really?
No, not really.
Buzz driving.
Clear.
Maybe we should stop acting like it's no big deal.
Shock him.
Welcome back to the morning show. I'm Sierra Jarmuth. Science is an ever-changing and advancing field. Every day, week, and month, new discoveries are being made and unique experiments are brought to a conclusion. From the tiniest particle to the vastness of space, discoveries are being made in all fields of science. Our host, Dylan Grace, takes a look at some of the most recent and interesting happenings in science in our segment, What's Up in Science?
Hi, my name is Dylan Grace, and this is What's Up in Science, a segment where I bring you 3 of the most interesting science stories. But first, here's our technology tidbit. Lancaster University has created a computer top which could be the beginning of the end for the 2D graph. The computer top allows data to be displayed in a 3D model and to be interacted with by touching the raised images. The graph would display data in a way that turns numbers into objects. Identifying patterns would be simplified, and differences in statistics would be more visible when looking at a stack rather than at a bar on a screen. The biggest goal for the Lancaster engineers is to make sure their technology is easily usable by the general public. The point of the technology is to make data easier to understand. If the technology is too complex, the computer is less useful than the 2D graphs they are trying to replace. Now that we're done with the technology tidbit, let's move on to our stories. Our first story today deals with fixing heart cells. When an animal suffers from a heart attack, heart muscle cells die and scar tissue forms. This can lead to further heart problems for victims. However, scientists at the Weizmann Institute of Science are working on a way to repair heart tissue after it has been scarred. Normally in mammals, the heart stops growing cells very soon after birth. The scientists, however, have found a way to reactivate heart growth cells in adult mice. The scientists found that by adding or removing precisely the right amount of a special receptor called ERBB2, they could allow the heart to regrow just enough cells to return to its previous state. There are still many complications, however. Removing too much of this receptor caused hearts to swell and allow very little blood to flow through them. The scientists at Weizmann Institute said that much more testing would be required before the procedure could be used on humans. Our next story moves off of humans and onto robotics. If you've seen Terminator, you know the T-1000, a shape-shifting liquid metal robot. While we still won't have that technology for some time, scientists in China have developed a liquid metal which, when exposed to electric currents, can change shape. The liquid metal has also been shown to absorb aluminum flakes, convert them to hydrogen bubbles, and use the hydrogen to propel itself forward. Scientists plan to use the metal to move medicine through people's bloodstreams and even perform basic medical procedures. While we shouldn't have to prepare for Terminators anytime soon, this metal is a huge leap forward. Our last story today has to do with one of my favorite topics, space. While we have known for a while that water exists on Mars as ice, we may have found liquid water just below the surface of Mars. Mars rover Opportunity has discovered a chemical on Mars called calcium perchlorate. Calcium perchlorate is an incredibly absorbent compound, which vastly increases the salinity of water, which lowers the freezing temperature of water. If liquid water is actually found on Mars, the idea of life on Mars, or even human colonization, comes one step closer. That's all for this month. Remember, always keep learning and discovering, and I'll see you next month on What's Up in Science.
Thanks, Dylan. Those are some fascinating reports. As host of the segment, would you be willing to colonize Mars if you had the chance?
I think I would. I think it'd be cool to live on Mars. What about you?
Same. I actually love space.
Cool.
For now, let's send it over to our news anchor, Victoria Chang, who has more Your School news. Victoria.
Thank you, Sierra and Dylan, and welcome everyone to Your School News here on the morning show. The students at Ogden recently did an interesting wax museum activity. The second grade class, taught by Miss Lab, had a tremendous amount of fun portraying historical figures. The students dressed up as important and notable historical figures. The individuals portrayed were Ben Franklin, Abraham Lincoln, Sacagawea, and Babe Ruth, among others. Each student read aloud a script of the important contributions that their historical figure had made in their field of endeavor. The real fun was dressing up and getting into the costume of their historical person. Lots of the outfits were incredibly detailed, and many of the children looked like they were straight out of their historical figure's time period. Students shared with visitors to their wax museum the obstacles their characters had to overcome in life, how the person they represented displayed positive character traits of cooperation, diligence, courage, and leadership. Finally, how their person from history used positive character traits to support their beliefs in liberty, justice, tolerance, and freedom of conscience and expression. These lifelike biographies were an exciting learning experience for the students and introduced all of them to many of the key figures in our nation's history. Carl Duke Wallen, Career and Technical Education Facilitator at Hoggard High School, is a 2015 recipient of the National Career Development Association's Outstanding Career Development Facilitator Award. The National Career Development Award is highly competitive. All school districts, including public, private, and charter, job link centers, privately employed career counselors, and career development professionals from all 50 states compete for the national award.
Very humbled by the opportunity to represent not only Hoggard and New Hanover County Schools, but state of North Carolina and the nation. You know, it's great to be recognized by peers, and it was something. It was it wasn't an expectation. I just do what I do every day, and somebody kind of recognized that, and I really appreciate that.
The recipients submit materials, are juried by globally certified career development counselors, and published veterans in the career development field. Mr. Wallen was nominated by his colleague Colleen Pate for his excellent performance in his role as a CTE facilitator for New Hanover County Schools. Mr. Wallen will receive his award during the 2015 NCDA Global Conference in Denver, Colorado at the end of June. More than 400 athletes from across New Hanover County competed in the annual Special Olympics Spring Games at the Green Track and Field Complex on the campus of UNCW on Wednesday. Friends, families, and more than 300 volunteers cheered on participants in various events throughout the day. Students from Rachel Freeman Elementary that participated in the event received a hero's welcome when they returned to school. Signs, flags, balloons, and lots of cheering echoed throughout the hallways of the school as the students stepped off the bus and made their way back to class. Brandishing their gold medals and giving the crowd along their parade lots of high fives, the Special Olympic athletes were all smiles during their exciting hero's greeting. Rachel Freeman athletes competed in the 25-meter, 50-meter, 100-meter, and 200-meter races, in addition to long jump and wheelchair events, and softball and tennis ball throws. These athletes demonstrated great courage and displayed the heart of champions. Their fellow students at Freeman were so excited to see them on the top of the world after the competition. It was just awesome. That's all for now. To watch this week's edition of Your School News online, visit the school system's website at www.nhcs.net and click on the NHCS TV logo on the home page. Now back over to Sierra and Dylan.
Thanks, Victoria. We bring our show to a close with a fun yet educational game.
That's right. It's time for us to compete in a morning show challenge, Penny Tic-Tac-Toe.
Let's send it back over to Victoria, who has all the rules. Welcome back, Victoria.
Thank you. Here are the rules. I will ask a penny-related question. If you get it right, you can mark the board in an open spot of your choosing. The questions will rotate back and forth. If we run out of questions or tie, the person with the most marks on the board wins. Sierra, you will mark the board with heads, and Dylan, you will mark the board with tails. I flipped a penny before the show, and Sierra, you get to go first. Okay, contestants, are you ready? All right. Okay. Sierra, which president commissioned President Abraham Lincoln's portrait to be placed on the penny? A, Theodore Roosevelt, B, Woodrow Wilson, or C, Grover Cleveland?
I'm gonna go with B.
No, you are wrong. It is A, Theodore Roosevelt.
I would have gotten that one.
Okay,
If we
Dylan.
could steal.
Yeah.
True or false? Until the appearance of Lincoln on the penny, no person had ever appeared on a U.S. coin made for general circulation. True or false?
False?
No, you are wrong. It was true.
Nobody was on any. The penny
Okay.
was the first coin? What?
Sierra,
Guess so.
what year did the U.S. government start using steel in place of copper in pennies? A, 1943, B, 1929, or C, 1960?
I'm gonna go with 1960.
No, it was A, 1943.
I'm bad at these.
Okay, Dylan.
I'm just as bad.
The 1930s hit Pennies from Heaven was written specifically for which famous crooner? A, Bing Crosby, B, Rudy Valley, or C, Fred Astaire?
I only know one of those people, so A?
Yes, you are correct.
Yes.
You get to mark your board.
Center. Best place. All right.
Okay, Sierra. The Lincoln Memorial was added to the back of the penny by mint engraver Frank Gasparo in 1959 to commemorate which event? A, the 30th anniversary of Lincoln Memorial, B, Lincoln's 150th birthday, or C, Alaska's statehood?
I'm gonna go with B.
Yes, you're correct. You get to mark your board.
Can I get the center left?
Okay, Dylan. The cliche, a penny saved is a penny earned, is attributed to the same person who suggested the design for the first 1-cent coin. Who is he? A, John Adams, B, Thomas Jefferson, or C, Benjamin Franklin?
Benjamin Franklin?
Yes, you are correct. Okay, you get to mark the board.
All right. Upper left. I don't understand your tic-tac-toe strategy.
I have none. No strategy.
You didn't watch War Games?
No.
Okay, Sierra. True or false? The penny was first authorized in 1787.
True.
Yes, you are correct.
Can I get the bottom right?
The bottom right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
sure
you're
we'll
blocking me. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Dylan. True or false? More pennies are produced than any other coin in the United States.
False.
No, you are wrong.
What? Why do we still make pennies?
The correct answer was true. Okay.
Like little Abraham Lincoln's heads.
Yeah, I know what a penny is.
No, I said we like them.
Okay, Sierra. Penny production has been interpreted or halted during wartime. No pennies were produced during what war? A, Revolutionary War, B, War of 1812, C, Civil War, or D, World War I?
C, the Civil War.
No. The correct answer was B, War of
B?
1812.
Oh, you were wrong too.
I was wrong too. I tried to be confident.
Okay,
Didn't
Dylan.
work.
Approximately how many pennies are in circulation? A, 75 million, B, 100 million, C, 150 billion, or D, 200 billion?
C?
You are correct.
Yes.
Somebody stop giving me easy questions.
Those aren't easy. The upper right.
I have to get this right.
You have to. And then I have to get the next one wrong, and you have to get the next one right as well.
Okay, Tiara. True or false? The first U.S. pennies were struck at the U.S. Mint were so much smaller than the more modern 1-cent coins we are accustomed to using.
False.
Yes, you're correct.
Yes. Can I get the bottom left?
Next person wins it.
Oh,
okay,
know.
Dylan.
The heat is
True
on.
or false? All U.S. pennies were made for circulation since 1983 contain a zinc core covered with a thin plating of copper. The moment of truth.
True?
Yes, you are correct.
Yes!
No.
Upper middle.
You had a 50% chance of winning.
Yeah. Fair.
It's not fair.
All right. Our winner is Dylan Grace. You are this year's winner of Penny Tic-Tac-Toe.
Well, that was fun. Good game.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Good game.
That does it for this edition of the morning show. Remember, for the best TV of all, each and every day, keep it tuned right here for New Hanover County Schools TV on the Learning Network of the Cape Fear.
Have a great day.
And a wonderful week.